Welcome to the Student Awards Program. Every year, the Michigan Association of Planning, the Michigan chapter of the American Planning Association, seeks nominations for planning projects, student projects, and planning leaders. I'm Andrea Brown, the Executive Director of the Michigan Association of Planning. Usually, we come together to celebrate those award-worthy plans at our annual conference. This year is different. We can't all be together to celebrate. We also recognize that 2021 was a very unusual academic year for our student members too. Remote learning, like this remote conference, isn't what any of you would have wanted, but we know that students and faculty from planning schools in Michigan stepped up and demonstrated your resilience and steadfast commitment to your studies, your projects, and your future. That said, amazing student projects were submitted for consideration, and we are thrilled to announce and honor our award winners now. The Outstanding Student Project Award recognizes outstanding projects such as research papers, manuals, plans, apps, or videos by a student or group of students in planning programs that contribute to advances in the field of planning. To qualify for an award, nominations must show innovation, originality of concept, or appreciable refinement of existing techniques or procedures. Transferability, potential application to other locations, projects, or areas of planning interest. Quality, excellence of thought, analysis, writing, graphics, and character of presentation. Implementation, effectiveness of the work. Proposals have been carried out, show promise of being carried out, or demonstrate an effective implementation technique. And application. Planning principles have been applied or observed, especially in considering a project's effects on other public objectives. The MAP Scholarship Committee reviews not only scholarship applications, but also the student award nominations. We want to thank Scott Barb, Brian Borden, Kevin Christensen, Cassie Meidel, Najma Muhammad, Shri Ravali Komaragiri, Justin Sprague, and Brian Urquhart for reviewing the student award submissions and selecting the winners. This year, we are privileged to have 3 recipients for Outstanding Graduate Student Project. First, Envisioning a Decentralized Compost System for Detroit by students at the University of Michigan's Master of Urban and Regional Planning program. As the world confronts the climate crisis, food waste is often overlooked as a significant greenhouse gas emitter, despite being responsible for nearly 7% of global emissions. More than 40 million tons of food waste were generated in 2017 in the United States, with only 6% successfully diverted from landfills and combustion facilities. Over the past decade, new businesses and nonprofits have formed in Detroit with missions focused on repurposing food scraps. Looking through the lens of 3 neighborhood study sites, the citywide scale, and the county and state context, the Capstone team analyzed existing and possible composting scenarios in Detroit from several, often competing perspectives: environment and sustainability, law and policy, and economic development. The project advances community-based planning, environmental planning, and equity planning through its use and application of data-intensive spatial analysis and modeling, market analysis, planning law analysis, scenario planning, and broad stakeholder consultation. The project drew extensively from on-the-ground knowledge and past lessons learned about urban agriculture, green infrastructure, and composting efforts. The central idea, a decentralized composting system, promotes community control over local assets and a more equitable economic model. It shifts the narrative from waste management to resource recovery, framing organic material as a public good that can close the loop through green infrastructure and climate change mitigation. One letter of recommendation said this: the student team's capstone project is especially timely, given that Michigan is working toward requiring that local governments establish materials management plans to reduce landfill waste, and we are launching Next Cycle, an incubator and accelerator to grow Michigan's circular economy. Congratulations. Next, we have our second Outstanding Graduate Student Award. tapping into economic impact. The impact of microbreweries in Michigan. This project investigated whether Michigan's microbreweries have a positive economic impact in the local areas where they are located. Using both quantitative and qualitative analyses, findings show that while microbreweries often have a positive economic impact on their surroundings, there is so much variability in businesses and local conditions, it is difficult to pinpoint microbreweries as the sole catalyst. Key takeaways include: the craft beer industry is a big player in Michigan. In 2019, the industry had a nearly $2.6 billion impact on the state. Breweries tend to cluster together in older, post-industrial buildings. Adaptive reuse and renovation create an opportunity for mixed-use development. Breweries support local economies and locally made products. The state of Michigan's most significant craft beer legislation was enacted in response to the COVID-19 pandemic and loosens restrictions on distribution and takeaway. One letter of recommendation summarized the project's impact. There is broad application for the research findings for Michigan communities, particularly in the face of COVID impacts. The report also indicates a thorough understanding of urban planning theory and practice, clearly highlighting the important relationship between community planning policy, planning law, and economic development. Congratulations. And now we have our final Outstanding Graduate Student Award, Accelerating Climate Action in Colombia and India. This project is a transdisciplinary collaboration among a joint planning capstone and architecture and urban design studio, the United Nations, and UN Habitat's Colombia and India offices. The collaboration included direct engagement with officials in the Colombian Ministry of Housing and Ministry of Environment, and the Indian state of Rajasthan and the Jaipur district. This capstone project examined how the UN Habitat's Law and Climate Change Toolkit can be used to analyze the effectiveness of national policies, various levels of master plans, and site-specific plans in addressing climate change and meeting international climate commitments. Recommendations emphasize environmental sustainability, focusing on carbon emission mitigation through safe multimodal transportation networks, efficient building design, and nature-based climate solutions and carbon sinks. The team prioritized social equity and justice by highlighting the legal rights, resource access needs, and climate adaptation vulnerabilities of residents living in informal settlements and low-income neighborhoods. They called for explicit consideration of the needs of women, children, the elderly, indigenous communities, and persons with disabilities in urban spaces that are often ignored or excluded. One letter of recommendation summarized the project's impact. What is most remarkable and innovative about these deliverables is that students conducted rigorous technical analysis in an interdisciplinary setting where urban planning, urban design, and architecture students had the opportunity to produce local urban design and planning recommendations that explicitly considered municipal, state, national, and international climate change goals. Students went beyond what climate partners asked with the application of the UN Urban Law and Climate Change Toolkit to include literature and case study research to produce robust and previously validated recommendations. Congratulations. Congratulations to the University of Michigan Master of Urban and Regional Planning Program students. Thank you all for sharing this privilege with me. This program will be on MAP's website and will be included in our Planning Michigan 2021 conference materials. Again, congratulations to all of you.